Do you know how tough it is to work in corporate Japan? This is a day in the life of Maru, a Japanese corporate slave. At 3 p.m., Maru is on her way to Sapporo for a business trip. She is a typical shachiku, a term used in Japan to describe employees whose labor is exploited and are treated like livestock by their companies. Maru typically works 150 to 200 hours of overtime per month. Although she was supposed to have a day off tomorrow, her boss sent her on a last-minute business trip this afternoon and claimed that it was so she could leave work early. For her job security, Maru had no choice but accept it, despite not wanting to do so at all. After arriving in Sapporo by train, Maru buys a can of beer as usual, which is her way of relieving work stress. As soon as she gets to her hotel room, Maru immediately begins working on unfinished tasks and continues working until 5:45 p.m. The case on which she is working originally belonged to one of her senior colleagues. Before the business trip, he knew it would be hard to close the deal and asked his boss to reassign it to Maru instead. Despite having years of work experience, Maru is used to such unfair treatment and endures it once again. Anyways, she decided to treat herself to a big meal first. For business trips, her company reimburses the cost of plane tickets and accommodation, as well as $4 per meal. However, this amount is often not enough to cover a decent meal, leaving her to pay out of her own pocket. Also, there is no overtime pay for business trips or for working on tasks that are not completed on time, as the company deems that you didn't complete the tasks assigned to you within the designated working hours. Therefore, it is considered voluntary overtime. To get up to speed on the new project as soon as possible, Maru slammed her food down in just 15 minutes. Back in the hotel, she lay down feeling exhausted, but she knew she had to face reality and continue working. Fast forward to 1:15 a.m., Maru felt hungry and went downstairs to find food. Unfortunately, the only thing available at the hotel was ice cream. She took one and returned to her room. After finishing the ice cream, she drank another beer and continued working while eating the meatball skewer she bought today. By the time she finished working, it was already 2:30 a.m. After sleeping for 4 hours, Maru woke up. Since she went to bed hungry last night, she rushed to the hotel breakfast buffet. Although it cost $14, she didn't care too much already. Fortunately, the restaurant offered a wide variety of dishes. Maru filled her table with food that was much better than the leftovers she usually ate at work. However, just as she was halfway through her meal, she received a message from her senior colleague that the negotiation plan had changed, and she needed to make changes immediately. So she worked until 9:30 a.m., then left the hotel for the client's company. At this point, she's a bit worried that she might screw up the upcoming meeting, but she's going to go through with it anyways. The meeting ended at 4:30 p.m., and as expected, the deal falls through because she took over the project halfway but didn't fully understand it. She had to check with her boss during the meeting, and of course she got chewed out again. Although she didn't know what punishment she would face afterwards, she could only silently accept the result. To ease her bad mood, Maru went to a dessert shop and drowned her sorrows in milk ice cream. During a phone call today, her boss said she was like an ostrich. At that time, Maru didn't know what it meant, so she started searching while eating. The search results totally bummed her out. It turns out that the ostrich has the tiniest brain of all animals. Her mood, which had already calmed down, was close to collapsing again. After calming down for a few minutes, Maru chose to have another ice cream to take the edge off. Although she has heard various unpleasant words from her bosses since joining this company, she hasn't become numb to them. Instead, every time she figures out what they mean, it still stings her for a while. After leaving the dessert shop, Maru headed back to her company and was already mentally prepared to accept any outcome. This is a day in the life of a Japanese corporate slave. So, what do you think of this job? Leave your comments below. See you in the next video.